What is good, ladies and gents of YouTube? BBK Dragoon here with another Working Up from Bronze video. This one is the last of the silver videos. It is 5 very quick and easy tips to help you guys improve. These are simple, but they have helped me a ton, and I hope they can help you guys too. Number 1, start shift clicking and control clicking. By holding down the control key and selecting or just clicking one unit, it'll select all units of that type on screen. It's a lot faster than boxing, and it can be very useful. Also, shift clicking can be useful here. So let's say we've needed to evacuate the SCVs for some reason, some sort of pressure, but it's done now and we're good. How do we get them back as quickly as we can? Well, we'll grab our SCVs, we right-click a gas, we hold down the shift key, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to right-click the other gas, hold down the shift key and left-click down here in the bottom center, 1, 2, and then right-click back on the minerals. What this does is you give a movement command for everybody to go to this gas, and then by shift clicking, you remove people from this queue. Do you see how it's removing people? So all we're really doing is getting our guys back onto gas as quickly as we can, and it's really fast. So like right, 1, 2, right, 1, 2, boom. And everybody's back where they need to be. Tip number 2. Turn off the sound. StarCraft 2 gives you all of the information you will ever need on screen, and in fact, you must rely on your eyes and not your ears. The sound bites sometimes will overlap, causing key information to not be heard, like upgrades completing or our forces are under attack. I'm not saying that you have to ladder like this all the time, but I tried no sound for almost a week, and then when I turned the sound back on, I was a completely different player. What this forces you to do is rely on the screen for your visual information. You're constantly having to look at the mini-map, look up in the top right, look at the mini-map, look up in the top right. I believe Day 9 talks a lot about this, but it's so important. A lot of players don't use the mini-map as much as they should. League of Legends players almost always have their eyes constantly fixed on that mini-map, even when they're completing difficult actions. It's important to do the same, and by turning the sound off, you will experience the mandatory requirement to actually use your eyes for this. Number 3, watch every single replay. Now, you can overlook the wins if you're pressed on time, but I really would just recommend that you guys start watching every single replay, especially the losing replays. You need to at least glance through it. You're going to surprise yourself more than once with reasons why you might have lost. Things in the fog of war are not as clear as they seem during the game or when you're emotional, but usually when you go back and watch a replay, a lot of the emotion just sort of drifts away and a lot of the difficulties drift away. You want to be looking for a few things. Number 1, check your macro, where your building's building at every possible time. Step 2, you want to look right at those upgrades. Were they smooth? Were they on time? Upgrades are enormous in StarCraft, especially as Terran, and that's how you need to be timing a lot of your attacks and when you go in to try and hurt the enemy, harass, do those sort of things, because if you're an upgrade down, you can lose to a significantly smaller force if he has the upgrade advantage. And finally, you want to look at how quickly and smoothly you're taking that 3rd, 4th, and 5th base. All of these things should be very repetitive and robotic when you start looking at the replays. Don't worry too much about what he did, because let's face it, you can't beat yourself up if you didn't know the counter to X or counter to Y. But what you do know is, I need to be building things constantly, I need my upgrades to be smooth, and I need to be expanding. So watch every single replay. This will change everything. Tip number 4, watch Pro StarCraft 2. GOM TV, Pro League, streams, and anything you can get your hands on. I think this tip single-handedly taught me more about StarCraft than any other tip I can give you in this entire series. I watched GOM TV for probably about a year during Wings of Liberty, and you do have to buy a ticket to it. It's $15 for a season, and it's worth every single penny, I think. I prefer to old GOM TV studio, but the games and the match quality and the casting is superb. I think the casting is the biggest part of it, because the casters do a good job of explaining the game to newer players who perhaps don't have a single clue what is going on, but they also can bring in this very high-level gameplay and analysis so that whatever skill-level player you are, you're going to get something out of the games. It's also nice because you can just pick Terran matches and watch nothing but a ton of Terran matches. There's not a lot of great streamers right now, and I know I might get flack for that, but truly I don't think there's a lot of good Terran streamers who do commentary. DeMuslim is phenomenal, and there's a lot of there's other good streamers, but it's just not as hype as I think it was in Wings of Liberty. But just start watching Pro StarCraft. It will change a lot. And finally, guys, this one is huge. Set a daily goal for the amount of ladder games you want to play. This will transform the sort of way you handle losses when you're playing StarCraft. A lot of us sit down and say, I'll just play for an hour. Well, what happens then is you play 3 games, you lose them, you get very angry at yourself, and you no longer want to continue practicing or playing. If you set a goal, let's say I'm going to play 3 ladder games every day for the next 2 weeks and see how things go, what that does is you're now aiming for a goal of playing 3 games to the best of your ability. You don't care if you win or lose, you're just trying to play those 3 games. By doing this, you start alleviating the silly stress that comes along with wanting to just win. If you're really pressed on time, this is the best way to practice StarCraft. It's like a musical instrument. Even on days when you don't feel like it, you force yourself to do those 3 to 5 games. Wow, my voice. You can definitely hear I'm sick, so... And that's going to wrap it up, you guys. Those are those 5 simple tips I can give you. I hope they help. If you have additional tips, please leave them down below. And I love your feedback as well. If you're having issues with the build or whatever, I will try my best to answer those as quickly as I can. Good luck in this new season. And as always, my Terran brethren, stay strong. I will see you next time.